Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here, and in a day of heightened political divisiveness, it's not surprising that there are a lot of key issues that are being debated leading up to the midterm elections this November. And at the forefront, the issue that's the biggest concern for most voters, as was the case in the last major election, would be that of immigration. You see, for all of us supporters of President Trump, just like the president himself, we are still advocating relentlessly to try to get meaningful immigration reform in this country. I mean, we're talking about reform that includes, yes, a wall along the southern border, as well as the end to a lot of the mindless practices that are currently being abided by, such as chain migration, the visa lottery, catch and release, and we want all that to come without having to grant amnesty to a bunch of people who are in this country illegally. Yeah, for some crazy reason, us common sense, America-loving conservatives, we don't want to go rewarding the criminals. But of course, there's a lot of contrast to all of those things, and it comes from the American left. A prime example actually comes from the state of Texas. When you look at some of the candidates who are running for the most important spots in government, whether it be in that state or representing that state in Washington, D.C., you get quite the contrasting message. Take a look at Senate candidate Beto O'Rourke, who's challenging Ted Cruz. You've got a congressional candidate, Veronica Escobar, and also a gubernatorial candidate named Lupe Valdez. All of them are advocating for policies that would harm this country, that would jeopardize the people in this country. You see, you look at Beto O'Rourke's Facebook page or his Twitter page or his campaign page, any of that stuff, and you're going to see that all he wants to advocate for is things that do not benefit American citizens whatsoever at the expense of those people who would be migrating to this country illegally. Then you take a look at Miss Valdez. She's a former customs agent saying that illegal immigration shouldn't be a criminal issue in the first place, that we shouldn't even be having this discussion because it's not a crime. And then Miss Escobar says that, actually she's quoted as saying, "We really have to evaluate the way we've criminalized migration." There's some very strong statements there, but you see, it absolutely should be a criminal issue. And guess what? We, the American citizens, we are not the problem. The illegals are the problem. Make no mistake about that whatsoever. You see, to be a legitimate country, a nation has to have laws that it abides by. It has to have borders that it enforces. These things are basic necessities to ensure the well-being of any country and the people who live there. But, you hear liberals and rhinos all the time just completely going against that. Hear them talking about how, like, oh no, illegal immigration's not a crime and not all illegal immigrants are criminals and all that stuff. Well, of course, that's completely untrue. Just look at our federal laws, and yes, immigration is a crime. It's actually a misdemeanor, and hopefully it will soon be bumped up to being a felony. And with the whole not all illegals are criminals thing, you don't really have to look too far. It's right in the frickin' title for you. Illegally, against the law. They are not here in accordance with the law. They are criminals. Yes, but it's still so maddening that in 2018, we have to, as adults, have this conversation with other adults who should be able to just, take the political blinders off for a second, realize how things are, and say, okay, even though I'd like to see, all these illegals come into the country because I'm a Democrat and we've turned off voters in this country, and we need people who would vote for us, we think that's going to be illegals. It would be really, really, really nice if they could just say, okay, but at the same time, we do recognize this is a crime. But for so many of them, they even refuse to give that, and it's just abundantly clear. It is a fact. There is no gray space there whatsoever. You see, the American left continues to do this sort of stuff. And like I said, it is the chief issue for so many people this election cycle. And if you're undecided about how you're going to vote this November, allow me to just go ahead and break this down for you really, really simply. Just cut through all the talking points. This is basically what you're looking at when you go in to vote this November. If you want to enable liberals to get back into power and give them the opportunity to deprive you of your most basic rights, strip those rights away from you, then absolutely vote Democrat. But if you actually care about the well-being of this country, if you care about having your rights, your most basic rights being defended and upheld, then you absolutely want to go ahead and you want to vote Republican. Hope that helps. That's all the time that we have for today, but tune into the John Muir Show each and every weekday, 8:40 a.m. WTAQ, 9 a.m. WSAU and WHBL. Till next time, I'm out.